What is going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down episode 112.1, and we are continuing our playthrough of Control. And I want to go ahead and just let everybody know there may be a slight delay between me and Matt's talking, but that's going to be okay. I'm going to try and work around it, so this may be a irrelevant statement, but if we do have something like that, just be prepared. There may be some dead air while we wait for Matt to come in, but we are going to try and work on that. But today I do have with me Matt.
Hey guys.
And yeah, Control. We took a week off, and I'll be honest with you, everything we're about to talk about I did 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to have a hard time trying to remember some of this stuff. Now I do know the last thing we finished was we had basically rescued Marshall and have came up with the idea of going and getting some more of the black rock, which is what they use to make those protective chess pieces, and we're required to go to the Black Rock Quarry to get some more. So I know for a fact you said that you were having a heck of a time in the Black Rock Quarry, Matt.
Yeah, I've actually been having more and more issues with the combat in this game. Nothing to say that there's a problem with the combat, but it is just kind of kicking my butt. I am fully focused on the launch as far as all of my upgrades. I have it almost completely upgraded. And I've also upgraded my gun to be the Pierce version so that I can do some better damage when I've got people's shields down, but even trying to balance those two against each other with the occasional extra shots from the regular handgun to pepper the smaller enemies, I'm getting beat up like in most of the games, okay, but when they have a big encounter, it is a tough encounter. I'm usually playing those maybe 7 or 8 or 10 times each to get through.
Man, that sounds kind of rough right there. It's I don't know if I've had that much trouble. I have died a good amount of times, but it was me just being greedy, pretty much. Just I can kill that guy, and then I'm out of energy, so I can't throw something or something like that. But like you said, I have also upgraded the launch pretty much all the way. I think there's one node that I haven't gotten, which is the I can lift heavy enemies. Now I've got the one where you can lift 3 things at a time. That is devastating, and that is very satisfying. Have you got that one yet?
No, I don't think I have that. Is that's not on the standard upgrade tree? Is that a special add-on? Or is that on the side tree beyond the pure launch damage path?
That's definitely. I think it's on the bottom. It may be the last thing on the main tree for the launch. I think I can't necessarily remember.
That's the only one I don't have.
The one thing I'm never using is the shield. I don't use it at all. I haven't honestly felt they need to use it, but I've never even pulled it up really. I guess I probably need to because I ran into the jukebox thing and I attempted to do it, and I got decimated there. Did you run into the jukebox yet?
No, not yet. I did kind of get that intro where I was told to go find the jukebox. I did get the coin, and then I did purchase some additional coins for it, but I actually wasn't sure where the jukebox was, so I just went up to talk to the brother and then continue kind of the mainline story. I do plan to go back to the jukebox. I figure the fact that it's got its own section on that menu screen means that there's probably a fair amount to do there.
Yes. So the jukebox is almost like it's not an endless mode. It's more like a boss rush mode, but not even a boss rush mode. It's more of like a horde mode, like in Gears of War kind of thing, where you can go in however many times you want to, and you can earn rewards like, better upgrades and stuff like that. It seems like just a place where you can level up, but they throw some hard stuff at you in there. I went into it once and I was like, yeah, I don't have the time for this right now. So I just kind of ejected myself out of it and went on with the main storyline kind of thing. Now this next part here, so we have to go into the Blackrock Quarry, which is, I think this is the first time in fact, Jessie even said it too when you first walk into this area. She kind of goes, "Whoa," like that, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." So apparently, when you go into this quarry, you're like in an actual quarry with a night sky and a city in the background.
Yeah, I didn't really get that. Have you traveled somewhere, or is this just a part of the facility that is open? Or is it some weird alternate dimension?
No, you did. I'm not entirely sure. I just went to the quarry and it was there. You have been to the quarry, right?
Yeah. I went through it. I saw all that. It just seemed a little bit out of place in the building.
Oh, I just assumed it was some kind of alternate dimension or something.
Yeah, me too.
Nothing really makes sense in this game, so of course there's a giant, probably 15-mile radius inside this building somewhere. But, so yeah, making it through there, we had to go get the black rock, which is only a single rock. I guess that's all we needed. I don't know. I figured we were going to be getting a lot of it and bringing it back, but apparently we just need that one chunk. Matt, you there?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. Sorry, this is, it's throwing me off a little bit, but we'll make it. We'll make it. So yeah, and then whenever we make our return trip back through the quarry, there is a little cutoff where we can make it back up to the building itself. But when we make the return trip, we get encountered by those, there's 3 or 4 of those unkillable monster things that chase you around.
Yeah, I had a couple of problems here. Even going into the quarry, there's the part, the last lip to get to the lowest section of the quarry, where you have to fight 2 or 3, I call them rounds, I guess, of enemies, right? Each one's not that hard, but they do get kind of progressively harder, where it's kind of regular enemies plus the shielded enemies. Then you get some of the floppy flying enemies. And then the only ones that ever really give me a problem are the ones where they swirl the rocks around their body, which in and of itself isn't too bad, but when they also have the life gain ability, which means that if I unload everything and don't kill them, I feel like they're almost back to full health before I can go back for the attack. So sometimes, I can't kill them unless it's absolutely the last thing around, because it's the only way I can literally unload everything without worrying about dying from some other random enemy. But I didn't, I got through that without too much problem, but that was another one where it was...
No, go ahead, Matt.
Just that it was a good probably 5 or 6 tries on that section. And despite the fact that they do have,
Yeah,
I guess, reason. I would say reasonably good checkpoints, but they are sometimes
you're
spaced
good,
a
man.
little ways
Keep
away.
going.
Just the checkpoints in general, I think, they do have a lot of them, and I kind of enjoy sometimes the need to get back to where a fight was, but when it's 6 or 7 or 8 times in a row, sometimes those treks can be kind of long, especially when you have to fight enemies on the way back to, let's say, the boss.
Yeah, I've gotten kind of burned a couple of times dying, and sometimes it was like being dumb, like not paying attention, dying, and I'm like, oh god, I went back to the cleansing point. I'm like, oh man, I forgot about that, and I have to like run through like empty hallways just to get back to where I was, kind of thing. But yeah, get the Black Rock, go back to I guess back to Central, and that's when we finally decide that it's time to go find Dylan. It's fine to ask, hey, do anybody know where Dylan Faden is? And yeah, they most certainly do. I can't necessarily remember. There was something about Marshall agreed to tell us where he was if we did something, and I think it was get the Black Rock, but I can't remember exactly. Do you remember, Matt?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was that, or I know at one point when you get there, what seems to always be the case in this game is that they'll let you through, or they'll give you the information as long as you clear out the next area. There's always some problem that needs to be dealt with, and since we're the director, we can handle it. So I think they even tell us that he's in the panopticon, he's on a certain floor, and then there's also issues. There's also an enemy in there that we need to get rid of, so they tend to always come hand in hand.
Yeah. And this was kind of the beginning of the pushing of the side quests. Tons of side quests unlock in this area.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this is probably my favorite area of the game so far, because we're finally getting to see the SCP, like all these objects of power just behind these locked glass containers kind of thing.
Yeah, I especially like the one guy that's in there with like a refrigerator and he can't leave.
Yeah, that's one of the highlights right there for me, because I ran into the guy and he's like, "Oh, thank God somebody's here. I've been here for 24 hours staring at this freaking refrigerator, and I need somebody to take over for me." And we're like, "Okay, well, I got to do something right now, but I'll be back for you." And I wanted to make sure I went back for him. But there's the guy, I can't remember what the guy's name is. The guy who is kind of like over the containment areas. He obviously kind of hates that he was dropped there and is in charge of all this stuff, but he also has this complex of, if I wasn't here, then this whole place would go under.
Yeah.
But when I finally finish up what I need to do, I come back to him and I'm like, "Hey, there's this guy I ran into who's staring at a refrigerator," and they're like, "Oh, we forgot about refrigerator duty." Yeah, he's been in there for a long time. We usually switch out every couple of hours. But when all this went down, we had to just leave him there. So we had to go, we got the ability to go back in there and help him. Unfortunately, he doesn't make it, because according to this object of power, this refrigerator, somebody has to constantly be looking at it, staring at it. And if you don't, the refrigerator, I guess, kills you somehow. I'm assuming it just sucks you into the refrigerator. I'm not sure. But I went in there and cleansed it, and took me to some place in the astral plane, and I had to fight this giant demon boss thing.
Yeah, I never actually went back for him.
Oh no. Yeah. So one of the things that and I don't think these are actually objects of power more than they are altered objects that have been influenced by other objects of power, I think is what their explanation is. But yeah, so what Jessie can do is she can actually, and this is something they've never seen before, is she can cleanse it to make the object kind of mundane, or at least not require something. So like the fridge requires somebody to stare at it to placate it. When she cleanses it, the refrigerator doesn't require that anymore. So the people are starting to recognize, oh, she has some kind of power that can possibly save a lot of us for this. So, but yeah, the main reason we go into this area is to go talk to dear old brother Dylan, who when we get to where his containment area is,
well, we do go back to
gone.
the Oceanside Motel
broke
first.
Out. Right.
Although I thought this was the easiest of all the Oceanside
the bridge
motels
that leads to that area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, I can't remember which one this was. Was this the one where we had to make everything the same as the other room kind of thing?
I think this is the one where all you had to do was turn one of the pictures. Like the first room was upside down, and the second room was right side up, and the third room had a picture that was upside down. It looked like all you had to do was turn the picture right side up, and that was it. And then go back into the upside down room, and it would have the key in it.
That's right. Yeah, this one was actually really easy. So, but yeah, Dylan, he has escaped his cell, and when we finally reach out to Marshall, or I can't remember who it was we reached out to at the central headquarter area, they said, yeah, he's here now. He's looking for you. So we have to return back, and we talk to him, and he's bonkers. He's lost it. Which, granted, he's been locked up there since he was a child, so I'm assuming that's what probably made him go nuts. Any thoughts on the meeting with him?
No, I mean, I kind of like that, I like the whole implication that he was, like, taken over, right? And he wasn't even speaking as Dylan. And so, you kind of get the sense that she's going to be able to cure him at some point. But, yeah, I mean, it was a interesting enough meeting. I like some of the implications. They were talking about P6 and P7, and Dylan is obviously P6, so I wonder if she ends up being P7, or I don't think that it was just some other random director candidate that was going to be P7, at least not that we know so far.
Yeah. So how far have you made it, Matt?
Not too much further. I made it through this section and then into the next one, the face of the enemy. I was actually stuck on the end boss of this section
I've
for a
made
long
it through
time.
that. Which was
So
the
you're
end boss
one chapter
section for
ahead.
this? I can't remember.
It was Salvador right before, like, you go through that kind of twisted tunnel before you cleanse the TV. You need to fight Salvador where he's kind of hanging in the middle of the room and then he drops to the bottom and, you know, kind of, I think I was dying a lot similar to what you were saying. I just wasn't playing defensive enough and, you know, trying to hide behind the posts and get his shield and health down.
So
but,
have you unlocked the ability to levitate yet?
Yes.
Okay. That was with the TV, right? The TV gave the levitate ability?
Yep.
Okay. So at this point you eventually unlock, I can't remember what the name of the side quest is, but it's basically hunting down objects of power that have basically escaped. And it's for this guy, the guy who runs like the containment area. These are not required, but they take you on some really, really cool, like, side quests that are really unique. There's a couple of them that are just like, I get that. But there's a few that are like, I know there was one that had to do with a mirror that was really, really cool. And obviously when you do them, we can talk about them more. There's one about a traffic light. There's one about like a Chinese lantern. There's one about, it's called the hand chair, and it's literally a chair that's shaped like a hand, like those crappy, like, novelty chairs.
Yeah, like artistic novelty chairs.
Yeah. And those are like the highlights of this game, I think. Like the just the special, like, go find this thing and cleanse it, because it all has like this unique thing that you've got to do. And the good thing is now that you have levitate, you can go to a bunch of secret areas. And I would say make sure you keep looking up wherever you explore, because there is one piece of you know, like a file that you find, and I think it's on your way to the face of the enemy. I think they like the next chapter that hints at what's, I wouldn't say what's really going on. It hints at the big twist in the game. And after you finish the next chapter, you're playing the Ultimate Edition, correct, Matt?
Yep.
Okay. After you finish the next chapter, you can technically start one of the DLCs. You can start the second DLC. And as soon as you start that, you will instantly get the twist. And I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, please don't.
It's
I'll
big
get there.
twist, and I think you will really like it. So, yeah, when you'll eventually get it almost pops up like a side mission, but it will say investigate the elevator. As soon as you investigate the elevator, you will instantly recognize what's going on. But before that, I found a document that hinted at what was going to happen in that DLC. And I hope you find that document. It is in a place that you have to levitate to, and it's off the beaten path.
Is it obvious, or is it way out of the way?
It's not way out of the way. It's in a corridor. It's in a corridor that you can find. Just make sure you keep looking up and be like, oh, I could go up there if I levitate up there, kind of thing. And it is definitely missable. So if you're not looking, you will miss it. But like when I read that, I was like, aha, there's one of your little hints, and then they just slap you right in the face with it with that second DLC. So, like I said, don't look up anything. Don't even look up what the DLCs are called. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't. So far, I've avoided it.
Yeah. So you should be getting close to it. Not by the next recording, you will definitely know. So, I'm trying to imagine what else. So we finished up with the Dylan telling us stuff. He told us basically we need to go back to what happened in Ordinary. We need to go back to the past and investigate what the Foundation, or what the Federal Bureau of Control knows about what happened 15 years ago in Ordinary. So that's where we go off to and read a lot of the documents there, because they do detail basically the events that happened in Ordinary, and really give off like what they did to Dylan and a few other things that I don't want to get into just yet.
I'd love it if, given, the way Remedy operates and likes their TV shows, I wish, like, the end of this game, like, the reward for beating the game was just, like, a 30 or 40-minute video of backstory and what happened and tying everything together.
Possibly.
I feel like there's a lot you can miss in this. If you're looking for things that are on the walls. I mean, I guess I haven't. I wish I had the time right now to play this every single day, but I've been playing it in spurts, like a couple hours at a time. But then I won't touch it again for 5 or 6 days, and I feel like because I'm not immersed in these levels in this building, that I'm not as tight with like the layout of the building as I probably should be, and going from area to area sometimes feels like a little bit like it's a little bit scattered. I feel like it's not like I ever know if I need to go somewhere exactly how to get there. I like that they've centralized a lot of it around that elevator off of the main room, but I don't know, like, especially in this part when they're like, go find the prime candidate program. Now you've got a level 6 key. Go find the door. And then all of a sudden there's no indication where that door is. And I'm like, I know I've seen a couple of level 6 doors that I couldn't open before. So I'm sure that's where I'm supposed to go, but I don't know where they are. So I feel like if I spent a little more time with this and working on side missions and backtracking and crisscrossing a bit more, like I would know where things were in relation to kind of the main areas a little bit better, but I am not quite there yet.
Yeah, definitely doing the side missions will make you go to places that you've been before, but with better access. And also, they reward you pretty good with like skill points and stuff like that. So the side missions are where the fun stuff is, but they're also where you get the best like upgrades, and you also learn kind of like a little bit more of the layout of the building itself and stuff like that. I honestly, if I didn't have the fast travel ability, I would hate this game, because there's just so many like confusing corridors and like I get turned around so easily. But I can always find a control point and go to it and say, okay, here's a map. This is where I'm at. This is where I want to be, and I can easily I'll go to the closest control point and then figure out from there. And that's okay. At least I got that. So the problem is, because I remember playing this like when it was still on like Game Pass. And not the like Ultimate Edition that was like Series X enhanced. The map was horrible because you would hit the D-pad to make the map come up, and the map would take like 5-6 seconds to load. It was so bad. I was like, God, this is horrible. Yeah. But, yeah. I mean, if we can stop right there if you want to. Like, definitely do those side missions, because that's like some of the best parts of Control for me. I haven't made it much farther. I say I'd probably about 2 hours in farther than you right now, because I mainly started doing the side stuff. And there's another side. So have you reached a room that had like a whole bunch of like mold that whenever as soon as you step in, you start getting injured?
No, I did pass the moldy room earlier where you fight some enemies that kind of look like clickers. But that was, I don't
Yeah.
think the mold itself was damaging me. I went through it.
So no, there's other rooms that are, the mold is almost like brightly colored, and it's like almost like there's a haze in the air.
I don't think I've reached that.
Okay. Yeah, there's rooms like that, and there is a side quest that you totally don't know that it's there unless you actually are looking for it. So, you talk to this professor, not professor, but like a researcher who is researching the mold, and she will eventually, after you finish the side quest, give you immunity to the mold, and then you can go and explore those rooms. So that's what I'm working on right now. I haven't got the mold immunity yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, I need to do a lot of side exploring for sure. Especially, with some of these fights kind of cutting me down. I think the fact that there are side missions available is a nice way to continue to play and try to make progress while I maybe level myself up a bit and also just get better.
Yeah, definitely. Like those side quests will give you a good amount of experience, or I wouldn't say experience, but like the skill points that you can then put into health if you want to, or finish up that launch. The 3-item launch, man, is awesome because you can target 3 enemies at the same time and throw an object at 3 guys, and it will just that's 3 guys wiped out already. So, or you can target 1 guy and shoot all 3 at him, and then your shielded dudes that keep throwing the debris around them, no problem anymore.
Yeah, those are the ones that are killing me.
Yeah. So definitely try to get that as soon as you can. But, yeah, I mean, we can stop right there if you want to. Do you have any final thoughts you want to talk about for this episode, Matt?
Nothing too specific. I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I'm enjoying that we are seeing some more types of areas, right? There was a lot in the last section. I think there was a lot of corridors, but in this last section, having seen kind of that central corridor with the bridge that we had to go back and forth in the Panopticon, that was a bit of a different setting, and finally getting to see Dylan and the Blackrock Quarry, and so I feel like there is a little bit more variety, but enough of it is still kind of samey enough in gray walls that it is kind of confusing my ability to get through this building. But, overall I'm still enjoying it. It does feel fairly tight, and now, just in this last play section, it wasn't terribly long mission-wise, but I did get the levitate ability, and I finally upgraded my gun, so now I have more things that I'm doing at any given time, so it feels pretty much like I'm in control of the battle. So I do feel that when I'm dying or losing in these battles, it is more my fault and kind of a lack of a lack of mastering the combat rather than the game itself being cheap, which, it at least keeps me from getting frustrated from the deaths. So, I don't know. I'm still definitely enjoying it. I really just need a little bit more time to expand and explore in it, I think, so that I can, just get better and acquire a few more skills. So yeah, I'm still enjoying it, and definitely, like, if you hadn't mentioned, or if people hadn't mentioned that there was a twist and that there were things to really know, I'm not all that sure I would even be expecting a twist here. I kind of feel like it could have been a relatively straightforward game, even within the context of the weird rules of the world that, she goes in, some reveal about what happened in the past, and you clear it, you save the bureau, yada, 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 you get installed as the permanent director or whatever. And that could have been all it was, but so I'm actually really intrigued that there is maybe a bigger twist to come.
Oh, yeah. There is most certainly a bigger twist to come. And I get the feeling once you see that, you'll be like, oh, I like this a lot. So, it's, I hope you find that document first before you run into the DLC. Probably what I'm going to do is, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I can do the DLC right now. In fact, I started it and said, I'll go back just in case Matt doesn't make it here yet. So I can probably start it. I would say if you go, you will know it as soon as you will know it as soon as you start it, because you'll be like, oh crap. And I would say, I don't know how hard the DLC is, because it may be one of those things where they want you to wait till the end of the game to do it, or I feel like we're a little bit more than halfway through the game right now, so I don't know how you want to handle it. I may try to just go ahead and do the DLC. I don't know. So the DLC we're about to run into is the second DLC. The first DLC, I have no idea how to even start that. So I have no idea what it's about. But we'll see what happens. I'll try to get through it, and I may text you and be like, "Yeah, don't try this just yet," kind of thing. Or we'll see.
Yeah, wait in there first.
But yeah, no, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for us. I know it's a short episode, but that's okay. We're still making some progress, and we're going to make more progress this week. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, I am at DML Fury. Matt is at REMGS, and the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. You can also send us an email. We didn't get any emails this week, but that's okay. It's Drew at ZTGD.com. And yeah, that's all the stuff I gotta say right now. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and drop out of here. Until next time, I am Drew.
And I'm Matt. Delayed.
And delayed, yeah. Delayed a little bit. That's okay. We're gonna try and get that fixed. But and hopefully I can fix it in editing, so we won't have to worry about that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm horrible at editing, so FYI. But yeah, that's going to be it for us. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll be back next week with the continuation of Control.